Good evening and welcome. I'm back home, my hair is shorter, and I have so much to talk about here. But first, let's go ahead and start off with our inspirational quote for this week. You're doing great, you're so buff. This quote carries a lot of significance to me, as it was told to me a year and a half ago by a recently graduated great mentor in my life. Well, mainly in my college experience, but I guess I could definitely also say life. Um, it also leads into our next goals for the club. But before we get into that, update on my last goals. Last week's goal was to explore and analyze different channels of swordplay and swordplay education, and in some cases, pre-existing lightsaber combat schools, and decide what would work best for my club. I plan to keep the entire list of what I already have, but I've narrowed my main focus down to 3 online courses. More on those in a bit as well, but first, I'm going to yap about some other things that have happened. So, 2 things. One, my stage combat class. We ended up doing a lot more swordplay stuff than I expected we would be doing in that class. It's been kind of a godsend. We've been practicing like body targeting, physicality, storytelling. I mean, everything you would expect with a stage combat class, but the focus on this and like just how we've been able to get creative with it has been pretty incredible. Not to mention, where on my script this says, bear with me, I'm a professional. Our professor really knows our stuff, and I'm sure I've mentioned this already, but he is also a huge Star Wars nerd. We had a mini running bit where every time he or his teaching assistant mentioned lightsabers, I'd perk up and like go up to him and was like, "You just said the magic word," and it wasn't super annoying because we were all like in a fun space with in our giant stage at college and everything, but it was fun. As like, yeah, he's a huge Star Wars nerd. For our final project was a sword fighting scene, and during which at one point I take away my partner's sword and I go at them with 2 swords, and I said I felt like Asajj Ventress, and he got that reference. Just from you are going to be Asajj Ventress for a bit, and I just love that so much. And so that class is over now, but at after we presented our finals, I announced this club to the whole class, and as expected, it got some exciting reactions. But I let them know I was looking for just people to get involved, like whether it's attendees or some co-instructors or some execs for the club. I nabbed my professor a little bit more about becoming a faculty sponsor, and he said he still had to figure out his own schedule, how I'd fit into that, and I let him know I would. Did I let him know about this? I don't know. I would said I'd figure it out, or would eventually figure out what the time constraints and responsibilities would be for him showing up for this club, and so, because oh my gosh, it would be a lifesaver if he could actually be faculty sponsor for this club. Like I said, he really knows his stuff, especially concerning swords. Like one day I asked him about I made some kind of Star Wars joke, and he like listed all like the kind of sword style choreography stuff that has inspired moves in Star Wars, as in the duels in Star Wars, and I was like, whoa. So yeah, if we can get him on board for this, it's gonna be smooth sailing. Just trust. Um, Another thing, um, a couple weeks ago, I took a weekend trip to the University of Mary Washington. I went to, as turns out, or fun fact, U Mary Wash also has a lightsaber dueling club. They get together, a bunch of kids get together and like choreograph duels with each other, and it looks really cool, and this generates a lot of excitement on canvas, um, from what I could tell. Um, but yeah, let me look at my notes about that. I have notes about the stage combat too, but just a moment. Um, bear with me. So this was founded by students in the performing arts department, but pretty much anyone can join. Um, they, I got which lightsaber brands they mostly source their sabers from. They were brands that I already had on my list to check out. Um, and another interesting thing is, so they choreograph these duels in advance and then perform them for an audience. It's like in both small segments and one big show that comes together at the end. Um, it's really cool. You should check out UMW Lightsaber Duels on YouTube if anyone's watching this. But the crazy thing is, now this might have varied from person to person, but they didn't like have any formal like sword fighting / training. They didn't like consult anything for lightsaber dueling or sword fighting or anything. They choreographed this entirely themselves, and I'm sure they worked with like the principles of stage combat of like storytelling and believability and safety and all of that. But it was just it was really impressive to see. And so you see, they had two performances per year. One at the dead end of the year, just before finals, and one during Halloween. And I believe that's the required amount that clubs at our school need to have too. So I think that's, if I could just copy them in that regard, that would be nice, or that would be smart. I don't know. How many minutes am I at? 7 minutes. That's great. Uh, yeah. So with both those in mind, with the just fight choreography in terms of class I just took and the show I just saw, I think that is officially the direction that I want to take this club going forward, as not as real dueling, but more of a performance art. I think that's a lot more fun to it's going to be a lot more fun and engaging. And I know real dueling, as I was talking about with some of the Mary Wash people after the show, takes a lot more trust and a lot more skill refining before you can actually start doing it safely. And that was also one of the things I was looking at in one of my consultations that I'll explain in a little bit. But yeah, I think officially we're going to be performing stuff that we've choreographed, and I think that's going to work out great. And I think people are going to love that too. So that's updates for now. Oh, I've also run by very briefly run by my ideas to the new coordinator student engagement at our college. And I just let them know I would be in further contact with them about this. But I've talked to people, and so this is bound to get going very soon. And I'm very excited. This is happening. But anyways, now on to consultations I have written down. Let me see, did I have any more notes about this? Nope. Yes, I do actually. It's just in the slideshow. I have three things: Theatricum snippets, Ludosport Plus, and Lightsaber Path. Theatricum snippets is an online stage combat school for mainly very, very young kids interested in the performing arts and are interested in getting into stage combat. I literally just came across these teachers online who teach stage combat, and they had a thing for lightsabers, and so I just checked them out right away. And it, as I said, it does look like their videos, their training programs are more aimed at very young audiences, but I think still think there's obviously a lot I can learn from it, and like at least figure out how they've applied their knowledge of stage combat to lightsaber techniques and stuff like that. So they have 13 little they have 13 videos dedicated to teaching their techniques. One individual episode costs $8. A bundle of 3 episodes costs $20, and buying all 13 together costs $50. So I'll think about that. I might email them first, see if I can get a little more info about whether this might be right consultation for me. And next is Ludosport Plus. If you don't know about Ludosport, it is basically lightsaber combat but completely real. It's a combat sport that is celebrating its 20-year anniversary this year, actually, 2026. No, like sword masters from around the world, or like combat sport people, just took the principles of lightsaber combat and made it into a real sport. It incorporates canon lightsaber skills from the Jedi Path, not just the Jedi Path, I'm thinking another thing, to real combat sport. Most courses in the different forms they have take on average about 1 year to master. Allegedly, this is not allegedly, I just found out these are actually still open. I just before filming this, I checked their websites again. Their website's been updated. They looked really old before, but they've just been updated, I think, in time for May the 4th. They are still very much active, and that's going to be really exciting. I'm thinking about if I should just drop in for a class or something sometime, or ask about coming in, because they have places in Norfolk, Arlington, and Yorktown. A couple of those are close to where I live. That'd be really cool to come check out sometime. They also have some online courses for sale. Form 1, a series of courses for mastering Form 1 is $30, and another series of classes for Brandish Longsaber, I guess just more instruction, is $125. Honestly, I don't think that's going to be worth it, because I don't mean for this to be real anymore at the very least. So I think I might skip that, might check that out later if I get a big budget, or if I come across a lot of money and I want to check it out. We'll see. Third source I have is Lightsaber Path. This was another real world combat sports instructor who read the Jedi Path, the book The Jedi Path, and incorporated the techniques in there into like real life swordplay teaching. This isn't for genuine combat or I think choreography in any case, but it's more like honing your own skills and abilities with lightsabers, etc. And he focuses on a limited number of the forms. He focuses on Form 1. He has training modules on Patreon for Form 1, Form 2, Form 5, Jarkai, and using a saber staff. And those are like 3 different payment levels of $10 a month, $15 a month, and $20 a month. I think those would be perfect for at least practicing my craft, or consistently practicing my craft, at least while I'm on break from college, and to hone my skill level before I go out and teach this. But I think I might go ahead and go with that one. I'll contact Theatrium Snippets as well as Ludosport Virginia Academies, and I think I'll go ahead and revisit the Lightsaber Club at UMary Wash to just see if I can pry for more info about how they do their stuff. This is really going well. I'll explain my next week's goals in the description because I'm running out of time here, but this is really coming along, and I believe I believe I can do this, and so can you, and so can we. I've got to cut this off. Good night.